Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if this is your first time watching one of my videos, welcome. Today I'm doing a different video. It's not a film review video necessarily, it's more of just a rant really, because I want to talk about films about autism and the use of neurotypical actors playing neurodiverse roles, specifically with autism, because a new film trailer has been dropped today. It's called Music, and it's been written and directed by Sia. And it's nothing new. People who aren't autistic playing autistic characters has been going on for years. The most famous example of it is probably Dustin Hoffman in 1988 for his role in Rain Man, which some people have argued was in the 80s. Autism wasn't as well known as it is these days, but I just don't buy that. It should never have been made. It hasn't aged well over time because it didn't age well when it was originally made either. It's just a terrible film. And the reason I want to talk about it today is because about 2 hours ago I watched the trailer for this music film. And the reason this one hurts so much is because Sia worked with Autism Speaks in America. Now, if you don't know what Autism Speaks is, it's basically this foundation where their aim in life is to eradicate autism. So that just shows you what kind of film this is. You should never trust, in my opinion, you should never trust a film about autism when it's written by a neurotypical writer, because they don't have the same life experience as you have had. They'll never know what it's like to have autism. And every single film or TV show about an autistic character always bases that character on lazy stereotypes. And the reason they keep being made is because big film companies and big TV production companies don't care about their audience. The reason they make them is because they know their films are going to reach a wide audience, but they're exploiting them, and that's the problem. They don't care about the feelings. They know that a large population of their audience are going to be people on the autistic spectrum, but they don't care about that because they must know in some way that the films they make are offensive, and they exploit them because they know they're going to spend money by going to see these films. And that's why I'm not going to watch this film, because I've wasted so much money on films that have hurt me as an autistic person. If you don't know me, if you only know me from online things, I have Asperger's, which is a high functioning form of autism. And one of the main issues I have with these films, or these types of films, is getting, like I said earlier, neurotypical actors to play them. And there are so many good neurodiverse actors out there, and it's not the same. I've heard this argument so many times about how people comparing it to British actors doing American voices badly. I'm not naming names, but I am looking at you, Emma Watson. It's not the same, because if a British person does an American accent badly, it's fine. It's just a bad accent. But when you imitate somebody on the spectrum, that becomes ableism, and this is what Hollywood and the wider film industry doesn't realize. And it's gone on for so long that it's become the norm. And I, as an avid film viewer and somebody who wants to go into film writing, I've had enough of it. So I've made it my goal to write a film about an autistic person, but autism shouldn't be the main topic of discussion in the film. It's because if you're not autistic, you're not going to know what it's like, and it's like as if somebody made a film about somebody being blonde for like 2 hours. You just wouldn't go and see that, so that's what it feels like. And you can just tell people will make the argument that I don't have any right to talk about this because I haven't seen the film, I haven't seen it all, I don't have a right to voice my opinion on this. But you can just tell from watching the 1 minute video that it was written by a neurotypical, because the opening sentence of the trailer is Kate Hudson, who plays the sister of the autistic character, calling her magical. And it's the same thing that happens all the time. People use words like magical and amazing and fantastic to describe this person. And in a way, it's condescending. It's treating autistic people like children, and it's offensive. And I've lost a lot of respect for Kate Hudson for taking on this role, because when I was 11, my favourite film was Bride Wars with Kate Hudson and Anne Hathaway. And I don't think she should have taken this role on. I think the more films that get made about autism from neurotypical writers and directors, the more misinformation is going to be spread about the autistic community, and it's just gone for far too long. There's also a line in the trailer where one of the characters says she sees the world in a completely different way to us. And I have a massive issue with that, because it's not your story to tell, it's ours. And you're never going to see the world in the same way as we do. So why should you be able to do that? Having said that, I do think that the only good representation of autism I've seen in the last couple of years was Atypical on Netflix, and I would advise people to watch that if you do want to see a good representation of autism, because every year there's a new film or a new documentary series about autism, and it's just. I almost did a video about Love on the Spectrum, the Australian Netflix show that came out earlier this year, and every time you go on YouTube comments or social media or whatever, you just read the comments, and what I call neurotypical comments, they all say, "Oh, he's so cute," and "she's so lovely," talking about their autism. And it's ableism, basically, and there's a massive problem with it, and the world would be a better place if more people were educated like this. And I think my biggest issue with this film is that the majority of autism stories in film and TV are told from the male perspective. That's just a fact. If you look at all of the films and TVs, most of them are about male autistic people, and this could have been a brilliant film. And because it's the story of an autistic woman, which never gets told, we all know, or if you know about autism, or if you are autistic yourself, you know that women are always far less likely to get diagnosed. So this could have been a really interesting film about the autism diagnosis system, if that's the right word, for women getting diagnosed. But it's just cliche, tacky, films about people with autism are always about how they are suffering and in some way a patient. Just make a film about how we're just normal people, how we're just like everyone else. If you haven't lived what we've lived, don't try and tell our stories. It's not your story to tell. I just think you shouldn't write about things you don't know. Leave that to us, because we will do it far better, far funnier, and we will tell the truth. And I think this misinformation needs to stop, to be completely honest with you. I'm sorry this was such a rant. I'll promise my next video, whenever that is, will be more light-hearted. But yeah, don't watch this film, because you're giving in to ableists and Hollywood capitalists who don't care about the autistic community. The film is funded by Autism Speaks, which tells you everything you need to know, and hopefully Sia will apologise. Although I've seen her social media feed today, and she knows nothing about autism. You can just tell she's arguing with people online saying it's just a feel-good film, but it's not a feel-good film when you're picking on people from the autism community. So yeah, hashtag boycott Sia and hashtag boycott Kate Hudson as well, by association. But yeah, I'll see you next time when I'll hopefully do a proper review for you. See you again.